New cards, PogChamp. New cards, PogChamp. This is very important. Today, Konami has posted a video of Melffy Rabby dancing. And then other Rabbies come by and they dance. And then they all dance. Good. We agree. Okay. Flashback with Annihilating Retrolight. This is a counter trap. When your opponent activates the effect of a monster they control that was not summoned to this turn, negate the activation, you can banish all face-up monsters your opponent controls face down that were not summoned this turn. If the set card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can set a trap from your deck. This card is very odd. If this card was printed 2 years ago, it would be insane. Yeah, if this card was printed in a world where we went to turn 3, it would have applications, but at present I'm not super excited about it. Still, it is a very strange effect. I hate these cards that make you keep track of who was summoned this turn and who wasn't, but regardless, I think it benefits a specific type of deck, and it's the type of deck that we saw emboldened by that insane trap card that's like, if you have 5 continuous traps, you Exodia your opponent. It's like, when you go second, you board into this card to beat a board that's already established but doesn't take actions until your opponent's second turn, right? It's, I think it's a lot better than people are giving it credit for. I think it will see sideboard experimentation. But it's kind of unintuitive, and it plays really badly into decks that can play on their opponent's turn. So, you know, maybe. All right, next up. Limited pack GX Raw Yellow. Okay, we need to discuss the MBT situation. Is MBT clairvoyant? We have to be real. Does MBT have the mandate of God? Okay? Did the Lance of Longinus spear me through the chest when I was but a wee baby, permanently altering the course of my life and giving me incredible prognostication prowess? Yes. So we uploaded a Twitter thread last week that included the card you see in front of you and a short that included another card in here the day before this was released. All right, here we go. Dark Tyranno. During your main phase, if a spell card was activated this turn, you can special this card from your hand, can attack directly if the only monsters your opponent controls are in defense. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a level 8 or higher dino monster from your deck to your hand. That if your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon that monster from your hand. Not good. Not good at all. Okay, it is interesting. I mean, it might see play in the Dino slop deck. You could theoretically pop it with 18 different cards in Dino that pop things, and then you could go summon a soul-eating Overraptor. But that's not moving the needle on a deck that's functionally been solved, but for a couple extra extenders for the past 6 years. Is it good enough to maybe see play? In Dino, baby. I don't know. This cannot get Ovi. No, but it can get a guy who gets Ovi. Arcana Force 12, the Hanged Man. Now, I'm a little confused because Arcana Force 12, the Hanged Man, has been in Duel Links for half a decade now. Do I have Duel Links up? Anyway. When a card or effect is activated, you can reveal this card in your hand, special summon an Arcana Force monster from your hand in defense position. If this card is summoned, toss a coin and this card gains the appropriate effect. Heads, destroy a monster you control, and if you do take damage equal to its original attack. Tails, destroy a monster your opponent controls, and if you do inflict damage to them equal to its original attack. I mean, okay. It's kind of frustrating because it could almost be an interesting card. This combos with mirror damage. It combos with itself, right? Like your opponent does something, you reveal this card, then special itself, then you get to trigger the effect. But because its biggest application is as a hand trap turn 0, you're not going to have the light barrier that guarantees you get the one you want. So, not a big fan. I like that they're still printing the Arcana Forces, though. That's cool. How many are we missing? Hanged Man is up there. All right, next up. The Phantom Beast of Light. You can discard 2 other cards, special summon this card from your hand. It's mini montage. Then you can add a card from your deck to your hand that has a coin tossing effect. Gains 1,000 attack and defense for each card in your hand. When a card effect is activated that includes an effect that adds a card from the deck to the hand, you can negate that effect. That is cool. I'm happy to see that because that means that we have another Droll and Lockbird. Ugh, man, I guess this is sort of better Slifer. This is not better Slifer. Plasma Senshi Itom. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned by attributing a level 7 or higher monster. Once per turn, you can send a Magnet Warrior or a Magna Warrior from your deck to the graveyard, except Plasma Warrior Itom. For the rest of the turn, this card's original attack becomes 1,500, so it can attack directly. I guess I'll pull it up. What the fuck is a Magna Warrior? What Magna Warriors are we excited about? Magna Warrior. Okay, so it's just the big guys. It's just the big guys. Okay. This is bad. This is not very good. It's funny that it's like, yeah, the payoff for this, Foolish Burial, a Magnet Warrior. It's like, dude, Delusion Foolish Burials, 2 Magnet Warriors for free. And it's not searchable. I don't like it. Also, the art is just so anime. Like, all the anime cards have this, like, fuck-ass art that just does not look good. Ugh. White Knight's Lord. Okay, I'm going to be signing a lot of this card. You can banish 3 monsters from your graveyard, special summon this card from your hand, then you can apply one of these effects. Special summon a White Knights or a White Knight monster from your hand or deck. Add a White Veil from your deck to your hand. When an attack is declared involving this card and an opponent's monster, change that opponent's monster's attack to 0, and if this card is destroyed by your opponent, inflict 1,000 damage to them. What is a... What? What is a White Knight's monster? Hold up. Okay. White Knight, you got White Knight Dragon and White Knight Queen, apparently. But what is White Knight? No, White Knights? Can I explain? Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I'm gonna need someone to explain. Search a card that doesn't exist. The archetype name is the same, but they have to put White Knights, assuming that there's going to be more. Okay. Sure. Funny. Well, I mean, White Knight Dragon is a cool card. It's not a good card, but in Japan it's the same kata. Oh, okay, I get it. Invincible Demise Lord. Looks pretty vincible to me. During the end phase, if a monster was destroyed by battle this turn, you can special summon this card from your hand to graveyard, and if Invincible Demise Lord was destroyed by battle this turn, this card's original attack becomes 3,000. Also can't be destroyed by card effects. During your main phase, you can reveal cards in your deck, including Slash Draw, equal to the number of cards your opponent controls, and place those revealed on the top of the deck in any order. Okay. More than anything else, it is important to understand that this card is very funny. This card... Catch me making a Doomsday pile and then activating card destruction. Can we build TCG Doomsday with this card? This is going to show up in a lot of YouTube combo FTKs where you like give your opponent a Silent Wobby and then you use this to search a card with like an Upstart Goblin. Don't worry, it'll happen. All right. Elemental Hero Clayguardman. Okay, if this card is special summoned, you can special summon an Elemental Hero monster from your deck. Then if your opponent controls a card, you can inflict 400 damage to them for each. Also, you're locked from the extra except for hero monsters. And hero monsters you control can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. Okay, so Clayguardman has finally made it to the TCG. And it's fucked up for a number of reasons. First and foremost, this guy is not supposed to be summonable this way. Show me the anime one. Show me the anime one. No. Here's the anime one. Okay, that's not helpful. This card cannot be special summoned except with Metamorphosis by tributing Elemental Hero Clayman. All right, that is a completely different effect. They took the Metamorphosis part off it. I would feel so dumb being Neo Bubbleman right now. Second, it's an extra deck card, while Neo Bubbleman is a main deck card. Third, they accidentally made this card quite good. This is a really, really, really good card. It is hard to really, like, determining if a hero card is good or not is kind of difficult, because they will give hero a card that's like, if you summon this card, you win the game, and I'm like, it's not very good. And then this one is like, if your opponent breathes on a Sunday, they take 400 damage, and I'm like, this is the best card hero has gotten in decades. But I think this card is actually quite powerful. So what's going on with this card that makes it powerful? Well, first and foremost, this effect is crazy. If this card is special summoned, you can special summon an elemental hero from your deck. So obviously you can get Stratos. You can get Shadow Mist and grab a mask change. But great. I mean, that's very powerful. And then other elemental hero monsters you control can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. This is going to be actually pretty difficult for people to handle, because one of the best ways to get rid of Plasma is to bait out the DPE and then just go combat. The really important part of this card is that it's a starter. It is a starter for the deck that can be summoned off of instant fusion. So there are a ton of mechanisms in Hero to get to cards like Instant Fusion, to cheat out and special summon E-Heroes exactly, and therefore to get to this. I've seen some lists on Japanese Twitter that have already figured out how to cut every single brick from the deck to the point where, like, you don't have to play Ferris Increase anymore. I'm really happy with this card. I'm incredibly happy with this card. I think it's very powerful. I think it's more powerful than anything Heroes got in, like, years. Okay. Dollhammer. Target a monster you control, destroy it, draw 2 cards, then you can change the battle position of an opponent's monster. If a monster is specialed from your graveyard while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. Okay. This card is so powerful. Why? Well, think how good Enemy Controller was. That card changed an opponent's battle position. This card also changes an opponent's battle position. Folks, this 2-drop, I mean, that's, neither here nor there. Who really cares about that type of thing? But, no, I don't know. This card was specifically designed to elicit an exact reaction from streamers, which is, oh my god, they reprinted Pot of Greed. Let me be clear. This is not Pot of Greed. In fact, let's watch a Farfa short in order to get an understanding of if this is Pot of Greed or not. Did they just reprint Pot of Greed? That's what mine would sound like. I don't know what his sounds like.
Pot of Greed might have just come back.
Pot of Greed might have just come back.
This is Dollhammer. You can only use the first and second effect of this name each once per turn. Target a monster you control. Destroy it. And if you do, draw 2 cards, and then you can change the battle position of an opponent's monster. Well, draw 2 cards? That's something to make any Yu-Gi-Oh player excited, even by sacrificing their own guys. Now, where would this card be particularly effective?
Was he going to say Unchained?
Well, if you have a monster that you've summoned that turn, it's been negated, it's just kind of sitting there not doing anything, you can sack it off, draw 2 cards, and if it has a grave effect, you can special summon something from the deck. Particular archetypes that jump out for me is Unchained and Fire King. Get your Unchained combos rolling and also draw cards in the process. And on top of that, this has recursion. If a monster is specialed from your graveyard while this is in your graveyard, add this card to your hand. If you summon out something from the graveyard like your Garunix or your Shayama, you can add it back to your hand and use it again next turn. Sounds really incredible, and I think this card might potentially see some use in these types of decks. But the activation requirement of destroying a monster you already control, meaning that you already have to be playing the game, and then the cards you draw have to be able to further your extension, some would argue that this might be a little win more. But what do you think about Dollhammer?
I think you're gay! Fua has a use going first now. That's funny. That is okay. That's actually pretty funny. I don't know. I think this card is fine. I wouldn't be surprised to see it see play. I also wouldn't be surprised if it never sees play. People have pointed out Squib Draw, and that is, I think, a good parallel. This is a card that Rocket has, a deck that wants to pop their own guys, and it just doesn't play it. I could see it maybe in Genesis. Yeah, it's possible. People are talking about Unchained. Honestly, Unchained does not want this effect. Unchained already has a million better cards that do something similar. I don't know. I am not super excited about this card. I think the part that might be the most important is if a monster is special summoned from your graveyard while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. Like, there's a world in which the value of this card isn't that it draws you 2 cards, but that decks that do not have a grind game can automatically, like, get a grind game by virtue of this card existing. You know what I mean? So, like, maybe you play a copy, you have a mechanism to send it over the course of your combo, and then on your opponent's, like, when your opponent passes back to you, then you're like, okay, now I can do the combo again in a deck that otherwise wouldn't be able to. I don't know. Next up. Quick Summon. So this card says you can normal summon on your opponent's turn. Oh, real quick, back to this. If this was a quick play spell, it would be the best card in the game. Okay. Speaking of quick play spells. So I remember seeing this in the thread and being like, if this came out, it would break every deck. And then people were like, we have Ultimate Offering. And I was like, okay, it's actually fine. Immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon or set a monster. When you do this way, if your opponent controls a monster, you can normal summon a level 5 or higher monster without attributing. Already, this card is way better than it was in the anime. During your main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent there, you can banish it, add a level 5 or higher monster from your deck or graveyard that can be normal summoned or set. Then immediately after this effect resolves, tribute summon it. This card is, this card's good. Almost specifically for Monarch, right? Like, Monarch is the use case for this card, and not surprising. This card is something that Monarch wants, I suppose, but it also is a card that Monarch doesn't need, you know? They already have a million ways to normal summon on their opponent's turn. Normal summon a level 5 or higher monster without tributing isn't actually super important for the deck because a significant amount of them say if it's tribute summoned and you want to wield the tribute summon with Stormforth to eat an opponent's monster. And this, like, if the card is in the graveyard except the turn it's sent there, like, that's really good for these types of decks, but they already have such incredible grind game and recursion that I don't think it's necessarily important. The card that I think obsoletes this, of all things, is Steel Stringed Sacrifice. But you didn't hear that shit from me. All right, next up. New D card, Deburst. I'm debursting, baby. This is like a D hero card specifically designed for Destiny Hero Dogma. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. 1, target 1 face-up spell you control, destroy it. And if you do, draw a card. Then if you control a Destiny Hero monster, you can special summon a Destiny Hero monster from your hand, graveyard, or banishment. If a monster equipped with an equipped card or a Destiny Hero Dogma attacks at the end of the damage step, you can banish this card from your graveyard. That monster can make a second attack in a row. So, I think what they want you to do is go D-Force to grab Plasma, then D-Burst, target D-Force, draw a card, then summon a guy back, which you can then tribute for Plasma, and then the monster equipped with an equipped card is Plasma, which means it can attack twice. I don't give a shit about that effect. Like, this is such a bad, it's such a bad card. Really, really a shockingly bad card to print. But it's anime stuff, so who could imagine? I thought it was to pop the fuck-ass Cock Tower. You can use it to pop Cock Tower. You're right. You can use it to pop Cock Tower Prison. Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, Anime Haemon. And we're getting D Hero Blood D with the blue text. Please give us this card. Please, I want Bloody. All right, next up. Plasma Blast. Activate this effect based on whose turn it is. Yours, put a thunder or rock monster from your deck on top of the deck. Then if you have a thunder or rock monster in your field or graveyard, you can destroy a card on the field. Or your opponents add a thunder or rock monster from your field, graveyard, or banishment to your hand. Or if a monster was destroyed by battle or card effect this turn, you can add from deck instead. Okay. It is funny to be like, how you getting it off the top of the deck, though? An Adamantipator? What's the plan exactly? Yeah, this doesn't move the needle for me. Superconducting Scintillation Plasma Blast. Next up. Okay, new Invoked. New Invoked PogChamps. New Invoked PogChamps. Alistair the Reminiscent. What are we... So, what... Someone's gonna have to explain the lore to me. It's like... Someone went back in time to before Alistair became corrupted of that thing and gave him Iwas, but the sword version. If this card is in your hand, you can target a spellcaster or fusion monster on the field, special summon this card, and if you do, that monster gains 1,000 attack until the end of the turn. If this card is normally special summoned, you can banish an invoked monster from your extra deck and add an invocation or a spell that mentions it from your deck to your hand, all right? You can banish this card from your hand or field, add an Alistair from your deck to your hand. Then if this effect was activated on the field, immediately after it resolves, you can normal summon a spellcaster monster. If a face-up fusion monster you control is sent to the graveyard except by battle while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. Then you can fusion summon an invoked monster using monsters from your hand or field as material. Viracom. This is a new one. If you have an Alistair monster in your field or graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. If special summoned, you can set an invocation or a spell that mentions it from your deck. When your opponent activates a card or effect in response to the activation of your fusion monster's effect, you can banish this card from the field. And if you do, negate that opponent's effect. And if you do, banish that card. Invoked Sorath. This is an Alistair monster. So these are specifically designed to work with the new Alistair. The old Invoked fusions say Alistair the Invoker. So you can't make the old Invoked fusions with the new card. Am I right in saying that? Is that correct? That kind of pisses me off. During the main phase, you can target a level 6 or lower monster in either graveyard, special summon it to your field and defense position, but its effects are negated. If this card is in your graveyard, you can fusion summon an invoked monster from your extra deck by banishing its material from your field or graveyard, including this card in the graveyard. Babylon. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is special summon, you can add a Viracom, the artificial spirit or magical name Rosamundi from your deck to your hand. Then you can banish a monster from either graveyard. You can banish this card from your graveyard to target a fusion monster. You control all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. Lose attack equal to that monster's until the end of the turn. And Invoked Ocean. Your opponent's monsters cannot target monsters for attack while this card is in the main monster zone, except this one. Any monster sent to your opponent's graveyard is banished instead! You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target a fusion monster you control can attack directly this turn. Finally, Invoked Transcendence Aeon. If this card is fusion summoned, you can banish cards from the field to graveyard up to the number of materials used. Then if you use 3 or more, you can look at your opponent's extra deck and banish up to 3 cards from it. You can duplicate an attribute. All other face-up monsters currently on the field become that attribute until the end of the turn. Invocation Sword. Fusion summon a monster from your extra deck using monsters you control. If summoning an invoked monster, you can use banished monsters by returning them to the graveyard. During your main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target an Alistair monster and an invocation in your graveyard. Shuffle this card into the deck, and if you do, add that card to your hand. Is this the first time we've had a fusion summon by that condition? Spirit Sword Iwas. Special an Iwas from your deck or graveyard. Send out the graveyard to banish an Alistair monster from your deck. Look at 3 random face-down cards in your opponent's deck and banish one of them. And magical name Rosamundi, banish an Alistair or a fusion monster from your graveyard. Special summon an invoked monster from your extra, ignoring its summoning conditions. Banish it during the end phase. If a monster becomes banished face up while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card. Target a banished invoked monster. Special summon it. Okay. it's hard to get a handle on exactly what these cards are going to do. I think the best case scenario for these cards is that none of them see any play, because I don't know why they decided that Invoked is just the archetype full of Hitlers. That every single card in here is a different kind of Hitler. Invoked Oekanos is fucking Darklaw. Invoked Transcendence Aeon says fuck your extra deck. Like, I don't want either of these effects in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! The trading card game. Like, what are we doing? I guess God, I can't even like talk about finding them interesting or anything. So the gameplay loop is you're supposed to use this card, Spirit Sword Iwas, into Spirit of the Law to trigger the like use it as material, then trigger the graveyard effect later in the turn, or just grab an Alistair. It's almost fucking impossible not to find Alistair at this point, by the way. If you don't find Alistair at this point, man, I don't know what to tell you. Something's up. It's not going to work. It sucks that they worded him in such a way that, like, this one only works with the new ones, and the new ones are 2 Floodgates and then Babylon and Soroth, both of which are irritating. I guess, like, maybe you can use Soroth to get to Hecahand Man. Is that something? Are people excited about this? No. Yeah, sure. I do like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. Yeah, we're super excited about this. And of course, I guess I should say it is probably more annoying than anything I've ever read in my entire life that Invoked Transcendence Aeon rips 3 cards out of your opponent's extra deck, then can declare light and be linked off for Fiendsmith Requiem. Like, what are we doing here, man? It can't in the same turn. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank the fucking Lord. I misread this effect. Oh, thank God. Okay. It can't change its own attribute. Damn, I misread every part of this card. All right, in that case, this is fine. No, I wish I had something more engaging or interesting to say about these cards. I wish I could say, like, yeah, the line that these facilitate is actually quite interesting when you think about it, but I can't manage anything more than a wet fart and being like, things could be worse. Yeah, things could be worse. That's really all I can say, is that things could technically be worse. You need to think about them in context of 30 other cards. The 30 other cards are the Spellcaster slop that make them playable. And in that deck, they are probably fine. But to the end that they make Yu-Gi-Oh! Less enjoyable to play. So who knows? All right, next up. The Power Patron's Return. The Power Patron counter-attack begins. This is from Corey. A decisive battle begins. Man, you called this card June Pride? I know what you are. June Pride Elf Notes. You can only use a second effect of this card's name once per turn. Neither player can declare attacks with monsters not in the center main monster zone while this card is in the center main monster zone. During the main phase, if this card is in the center main monster zone, you can return it to the extra deck, and if you do, special summon an Elf Note monster from your hand, deck, and or graveyard. Ugh. Power Patron Envoy of Pure Prayers. If this card is link summoned and you have a Power Patron monster in your graveyard, you can add a Theo-Realize from your deck to your hand, and then during the main phase, if you control another Dark Fairy monster, you can immediately after this effect resolves link summon using monsters you control, including this card. Dead End Power Patron Realm Viraya. Show, look, a Nerva, the Power Patron of Creation, a Jupiter, the Power Patron of Destruction, and a Junora, the Power Patron of Tuning from your extra deck, face of field, or graveyard. And if you do, your opponent can activate cards or effects in response to the activation of your Power Patron monster's effects this turn. And if you would banish a top card of your deck to activate the effect of a Power Patron monster you control, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. We have a new Theo Realize. This is Pastoral Theo Realize. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn, and only once that turn. If you control an Archmage, Doomsday, or Elf Note card, special summon a Medius the Pure from your hand or deck. Your opponent can activate cards or effects when it is summoned. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target a Fusion, Synchro, or Xyz monster in your graveyard, special summon it to your zone. A link monster points to. Power Patron Shadows of the End Times, special summon a Power Patron monster from your hand, face up extra deck or graveyard. Then you can apply these effects in sequence based on the number of monster card types you control. For 1, you banish the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck face down. For 2, you banish a card your opponent controls face down. 3, you banish a random card from your opponent's hand face down. Then finally, Elf Note's Quatrain of Succession. If the monster in your center's main monster zone cannot be banished by your opponent's card effects, you can set another spell trap for your hand or field to the graveyard and declare a level from 1 to 4. Special summon an Elf Note Seraphim token with that level, but you cannot special summon from the extra deck while that token is on the field, except for Elf Note monsters. So I am tentatively interested in these cards. First up, damn, they are making us play Medius. Can we please not play Medius? Like, is it possible that this deck could exist without Medius's twink-ass frame? So, Rebecca has a good point out of the gate, which is June Pride Elf Notes being a tuner and a spellcaster non-tuner means that this is way, way more splashable than it has been in the past. This card is independently good. Is special summon. If this card is in the center of main monster zone, tag it out. You just get to special summon 3 Elf Notes, up to 1 Elf Notes each, which gets you pretty damn far. It means that at a midpoint of your combo, you can pivot into doing Elf Note combos, which is great. This Link monster says you get Theo Realize, but Theo Realize is really mostly just get you to Medius. And then during the main phase, if you have a Dark Fairy, Dark Lord Alert, you can immediately after this effect resolves Link summon using materials you control, including this card. This means Dark Lord can go into SP, I guess. Dead End Power Patron Realm Viara is an interesting card. This is the first card in the archetype I just don't get. Like, okay. I guess my guys are spell speed 4, and I can banish this instead. Pastoral Theo Realize. This gets you Medius from absolutely everywhere, and it prevents it from being hit by negation. Card is quite strong, and obviously can reborn cards to your Power Patron Envoy of Pure Prayers. Shadow of the End Times is a really interesting card in the theoretical Power Patron deck that this aims to enable. And I don't love this card. So I think the strength of these cards is going to become a lot more apparent as Power Patron, the capital D deck, becomes playable. At present, the Power Patrons are enablers in other Medius adjacent archetypes, but there is a mechanism, courtesy of the pendulums, that you just like go in on Power Patrons. And these cards are good in that. But for their individual archetypes, I'm not super sold. I think pretty much it is a mechanism to make these archetypes that are currently super xenophobic more splashable. And to that end, they will see way more play, which is probably good. All right, next up. It's a Walpurgis Noct for Witchcrafter. Okay, I'm going to blow my nose. There's like 40 Witchcrafters. Fucking out of tissues. So I got to do this. Witchcrafter Terracotton. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is in your hand, you can target a Witchcrafter card in your graveyard, except Terracotta, and add it to your hand. If you do special summon this card, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except Witchcrafters. During your main phase, you can fusion summon a Witchcrafter from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field. Witchcrafter Master Cendrillon. This is Madame Vare and 2 Spellcasters. If this card is fusion summoned, you can special summon 3 level 7 or lower Witchcrafter monsters with different attributes from your hand or deck. Also, you can't special summon for the rest of the turn except fusions. During your end phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can reveal a spell in your hand, which of course you'll always have because all the Witchcrafter spells add back special discard and defense position. Witchcrafter Celebration. Destroy a Witchcrafter monster you control and a card your opponent controls. Fusion a Witchcrafter by shuffling Spellcaster monsters from your graveyard or banishment into the deck. During the end phase, if this card is in your graveyard and you control Witchcrafter, grab it back. Witchcrafter Walpurgis. During your main phase, you can add a Witchcrafter monster from your deck to your hand, then discard a card. During your turn, if you would discard a card to activate the effect of a Witchcrafter monster, you can send a Witchcrafter spell trap from your deck to the graveyard. Except for this one. So this solves all of... Okay, we'll get back to it. And then Witchcrafter Distortion, the court-ordered counter trap. When a spell trap or monster effect is activated that you control, a level 5 or higher Witchcrafter, negate the activation, destroy the card. If this card is in your graveyard, banish it, add a level 5 or higher Spellcaster monster from your deck to your hand, then discard a card. What's going on here? GZP. So... I am not joking when I say this may be the greatest piece of custom support for an archetype I've ever seen in my entire life. One of the big problems with Witchcrafter is that all of their old spells are unplayable because they require you to like discard, or all their old monsters are unplayable because they require you to discard cards. Now, instead, they become extra Foolish Burial? Like, are you kidding me? You're going to be adding 5 cards from your deck to your hand at the end of your turn. And sure, they're not all going to be good. Like, they're going to be Rhodas and shit. But, oh my god. This is not once per turn, by the way. This is any time. Wow. That's not extra Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial goods, actually. Madame Rilliona, by the way, Master Cendrillon, is also crazy. You make this card, and then you fusion summon 3 Witchcrafters? Like, are you fucking with me right now? That's unbelievable. I legitimately think this deck is quite good after the release of these cards. I think it's quite powerful. Holy shit. Wow. 1,000 years of Witchcrafter. That's all I can say. Thus ends New Cards PogChamp.